Hey crafty cuties, welcome back to Paper Terrace. If you're new, I'm Jessica and I'm so happy you're here. I hope that you will leave a comment down below so I can say hello to you. I'm really excited for today's video. We are going to do a really fun project and I'm going to take you through the entire session, and there might be a part 2 or 3, I'm not exactly sure, but we are going to be creating a prototype junk journal. If you're curious what that means, I am going to be creating basically a journal of ideas. When I go to create a journal and decorate it, there's so many times where I'm like, oh dang it, I just have a blank, or oh, what were those cool pockets that I had been wanting to include in my journals, or oh, you know, what is it that I want to put in this journal? Well, this is going to be kind of like a dictionary of page ideas. It's going to be lots of interactive ideas in this one. In fact, I might have a volume 2. I'm going to include like my favorite tags, my favorite journal inserts, my favorite floating pockets. It's going to be everything that I love. And we are going to get started with creating the shell of the journal. That's going to be pretty basic, and I'm probably going to speed through some of that process because I definitely want to focus on sharing all of the fun journal ideas that will be going into the journal with you. So if you want to see a more in-depth journal tutorial, this probably isn't the best one, but I'm going to show you the style that I'm going to go for will be removable signatures. So it's going to be similar to this right here. And then the pages that will be in here are going to be rather blank because I'm going to be putting my page decorations onto those. So again, if you want to see a more in-depth journal tutorial, you can check out some of my other videos. But let's get started, and I am actually using a really fun kit to make this very easy for me. This is from Madeline Diet Designs, and if she has this whole journal pack available, I'll put it below, but check out her shop. She has amazing things. I'm also using a reusable box for the shell of my journal. I'm going to get started with covering this. I'm going to cover it with muslin, batting, and then some decorative fabric. So I'm gonna speed through that process again so we can focus on the more exciting parts of this. So I'll see you back once these are all covered. I have the layers of fabric on. It's super plush. I just sewed around the edges. Again, I don't want to put too much time into creating the journal cover, but it feels nice. And I am actually going to take this fabric, and I think I kind of want this to, it's not going to cover the whole thing, but I'm thinking like cut it right here, and then I might layer on some laces. I love how I just said, I'm not going to focus on the cover, but here I am. Oh, this is the perfect amount. Yes, I think we're going to go with this. So I am actually just going to fold right here. So I'm going to finish adding the fabrics on. I'm just gonna sew this. Let's see, I'm gonna, ooh, okay, wait a minute. This is such a pretty fabric. Maybe it would be fun to have both designs show. So I think what I'm gonna do is kind of collage this on, and so I'm gonna go back to the sewing machine and I'll just show you what I come up with for the fabric. So this is where we are at. I just sewed on and kind of collaged some of these fabrics, and man, I'm having a hard time not spending all my time on the cover. It's so cute, but honestly, this kit really helped make this come together pretty quick. I just want to finish it off by adding a few buttons. Obviously, I want to enjoy the cover. Let's see, something like that is what I'm thinking. A little cluster. I just found these random vintage buttons. I think I'm liking the black. Oh, or I could turn it over. I think someone painted it white. That's funny. Like that, or a little cluster. I think I'm gonna go ahead and just glue these in place, and then I'm gonna sew them on just by hand. Let's go ahead and I'll show you the buttons real quick. Let's go ahead and finish the spine off real fast with a ring fastener. I just had a realization that I can't have the ring fastener on so that I can eventually hang a tassel and charm. I am just going to eyeball the center right about there. I know it's kind of a weird angle. I'm just gonna poke a hole through that. I get these from Amazon. And then I do want to add some metal book corners. I have a feeling this journal is going to get open and closed a lot, but I'm going to cover the inside first because I do find it a little bit easier to put the metal book corners on once you have your inside finished. But these little scalloped book corners are gonna look super cute. Okay, so from this same kit that I'm pulling from, she had a big piece of wallpaper. It's actually almost the perfect size, which is so convenient. I'll just need to trim it a tiny bit. So I'm gonna just cover the entire, I'm just gonna fold where I need to cut. We'll just glue this on, and then our journal cover will mostly be done. I just added a ton of glue to the back of the wallpaper after I cut it down, and now I will just line this up the best I can. I am leaving all of the thread ends for now, and I'm just gonna fold these. I may go ahead and sew around the edges one more time, but I haven't decided yet. Just gonna let this all dry. I'm deciding how many signatures I do want. I want as many as I can fit. And as I'm making this, I'm thinking of so many ideas. On the front, I want to have a little index or table of contents so I can easily find the things that I want in this journal. But I definitely think I'm going to have like a second edition because I don't think all of my ideas are going to fit into this one. I just didn't want it too big to where it was so annoying to have out on my desk, honestly. I just had a realization that I can't have the ring fastener on since I want to do this type of binding. So I'm going to just quickly rip that out. It's going to be fine. I'm just going to keep this part in the video because always I want you guys to see the whole process. So I'm just going to carefully take this out. We can still add a tassel and charm. I'll just have to show you when we get to that point. I like to keep all of my mistakes in instead of editing them out because when you are creating a journal and you have these issues, I don't want you to think, how does everyone else not have these problems? So one other quick thing I'll point out is because I didn't wait for this to dry and because I have one solid piece of wallpaper in the inside cover, it's going to kind of bunch up when I'm folding it. And so I'm fine with this. We're going to end up probably covering this and decorating anyways, but I just want to point that out that can happen when you use one solid piece of paper or fabric covering the inside. Fabric is obviously more flexible than paper, so there's less chance of that happening, but sometimes with paper you'll have it kind of bunch up. But luckily, it kind of works with this one since it's embossed. Let's go ahead and start the binding. And we're going to use eyelets for this because I want to add as many signatures as possible. I'm actually just going to start by punching a hole, putting an eyelet on the furthest right, and then just seeing how many I can fit across. I always go for the easiest possible way. You want to put your eyelets as close to the bottom and the top as you can. That way your signatures can be almost as tall as you can get them to fit within the journal. So I'm just going to start by punching my holes, placing the eyelets. And so I'll show you what that looks like once I have all of the eyelets placed in the bottom. The eyelets are not perfect, but I ended up getting 5. So we'll have 5 signatures, and honestly that will be great because this prototype is going to kind of mimic what I would like to have my journals look like if it's like fully decorated journal. And then for the journals that I don't want to be fully decorated, I'll just be able to pick and choose ideas throughout this book. So I hope the whole prototype journal idea makes sense. But okay, let's move on to adding our trim to the eyelets so that we can add our signatures. I have some trim here that's about 3 times the height, and I am simply just going to lace this in. I'm gonna go through the inside, and I'm just gonna use something to poke it through to the outside because I like how it looks to have it tied on the outside. I think it's pretty, and especially for this shabby chic theme, which I don't usually do shabby chic for my own self, but I'm really excited to have this for myself. And then I'm just going to continue this on with the other 5 sides. I'll have to adjust how tight the tie is here once we include the journal signatures, which we're going to do in this video. The journal cover will be complete at the end of this video, not the decorations, just like the base of the journal. Okay, I'm gonna copy this by 4 more times, but real quick, I remembered that in this little pack, there were some little bulb pins and beads. Ooh, this one has a leaf. And I wanted to add some on the front here real quick. Some really pretty little beads in here. And I'm not going to worry about creating a tassel quite yet, but I saw this cute little doodad and I thought that would be pretty. We'll add this to the spine for now, but I'm just going to finish decorating this. I'll add the other 4 trims and then we can get started on creating the signature. I'm just finishing tying the last one here so you can see. You might not like this look. You can tie these on the inside of the middle signature and you won't see this and you can trim it, but I think I love how that looks. And again, this is a little darker, but it really kind of matches the whole vibe. So I'm just going to take this and pop it through the top middle eyelet. And this is essentially how I would attach a tassel and charm as well. But we'll just add that for now. I don't know if I love it, but this is really cute. So time to add our signatures, but I just remembered one more step. There's always one more step. And it is adding the metal book corners. I'm just going to add glue. Pop this on like so. And then I'll tighten it with my little tool here. And then I'll do that to the rest of the corners. Just make sure it's on the back good enough. Sometimes you don't need the tools, but I try to make sure that all of the paper and fabric is kind of tucked in there nicely. Yes, those look really cute. The size of this, I didn't tell you earlier, it's about 6.5 inches by 9.5 inches, and the spine is about 2.5 inches. I want the pages to just be a page that has no pockets or decorations because obviously I'm going to be adding the page ideas onto these pages. They're just going to be a base page. If I already had all coffee dyed paper, I would probably just use that, but I'm going to use what I have. And I have a ton of big pieces of wallpaper and then these really cool like large magazine pieces. I actually also got these from Madeline's shop. But what I'm going to do is cut these down and they're just, again, going to be very basic signatures. Now, I did realize that when I fold this over to have the width that I want, I'm left with this extra little flap. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it in like this. I'm not going to create a pocket because I don't want there, again, I don't want there to already be pockets on here. I am going to do this because maybe when I get to this page, I'll want to have like a flip here so that I can include as many ideas into this journal as I want. When I get to this page, if I don't want a flip, then I'll just cut it off. But for now, I'm just leaving it. So that's like the only exception. And just because these pages happen to be that perfect width to do that. So I'm going to cut all of these down. As I'm adding in the last signature, just a little extra piece of advice to make sure that when you are measuring the pages to go in your journal, make sure that the height is measured in between the eyelets rather than the height of your journal. For instance, my journal is 9 1/4 inches tall, but the pages need to be 8 3/4 of an inch to fit in here comfortably. Now, if you have them a bit bigger, what's going to happen is the trim will just rub on the centers here, and over time, you know, that may cause some damage, but I have definitely accidentally had mine too big before, and it's not a big deal, but everything's going to fit a lot better if you measure within the eyelets. All right. The other cool thing about having the pages in this type of binding is that we will easily be able to take out or add pages, which is going to be great since this is a whole idea journal. I may want to add pages if I have more space, or if things are getting too chunky within one signature, I can easily remove a page. The other thing is I can move things around. I want this to be pretty organized. So if let's say I'm working on book page pockets on this signature, and I have one more idea that has to do with like book pages, but I had started it back here, well, then I can take that page out and add it to this signature, if that makes sense. A few other things I'm going to do to kind of hope that I keep this a bit decorated and easy to reference when I need. I'm going to have a table of contents, and because I will be adding and taking away to this, I don't have this planned out perfectly. I'm just going to washi tape this on. That way, if I need to change anything, I can. So this is where I'll write maybe like signature 1 is going to have this kind of pocket, or signature 2 will have interactive flips, or signature 3 will have journal inserts. I think you get what I'm saying. So that's kind of my plan with that. The table of contents may be one of the last things that I finish off anyways. But the other thing is I am going to be putting little tabs on the pages, which will correspond with the table of contents. So maybe I have a multi-pocket book page, number 2. Then you can easily find number 2 and flip to it. I'm going to go ahead and pop these in here. My idea is to put these in a clear adhesive pocket here, and then I can easily have my little index, my little tabs. So I'll probably put this somewhere on the front, but I don't want to get too carried away until I think this through just a little bit more. I might want to have a pocket on the front. I'm not exactly sure. I hope that sharing my entire thought process will help you possibly create your own prototype journal. In the next video, I'm going to get started with adding the page decorations and ideas in here. I'm probably not going to film that entire process because it's going to be filled up over time. I'm not just going to do all of this in one go. So I probably won't have the entire thing filmed, but when I do complete the full journal, I will 100% share that with you guys. And I am so excited to get started by adding things in here so that I can easily reference this when I need. Okay guys, so that's it for this first video. I promise not to try and take too long before I show you part 2 where you can see it come together. I love this journal. I think it turned out so cute. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. Thanks for being a part of this process, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.